Good afternoon and welcome to the Victoria Advocate. I'm Becky Cooper, Managing Editor. Chris is at a meeting. He'll be joining us probably soon. To my right.
Tony Belandron, City Editor.
And to my left is a guest.
Jenna Weaver.
She's a local college student who's shadowing us for a few days. So, and behind the camera,
Executive Producer Thomas Martinez.
you like that title, don't you?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, so before we get started, I have a trivia question for you. This should be an easy one. Anybody knows anything about anything? What is the largest library in the world? If you've ever visited a library, you should know this.
Existing one?
What is the largest library in the world?
I have a guess.
I think it's on the tip of my tongue.
It's obvious. Oh, well, in the world?
There's more than just the United
Yeah, I
States.
know.
No.
More than just the Library of Congress, but Library of Congress is, I don't know how many pieces of material they have. There would be Library of Congress, probably some place in England would probably supersede it since they have more history.
Doesn't make it bigger though.
Well, Tony's got it. Do you
Oh.
want? The Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. has over 164 million items stored on more than 830 miles of bookshelves. Can you imagine that many bookshelves?
830?
830 miles of bookshelves.
That doesn't top Victoria Library.
Well, the Great Library of, what was it, the one where, that burned, during Cleopatra's time. The Great Library, they refer to it as the Great Library. It had all of Plato's works and all of notes from all the philosophers that burned, and was lost forever.
It wasn't saved in cyberspace anymore? On a cloud somewhere?
Yeah, they uploaded it to a cloud. No, I mean, they were just all the works, all the notes, all that thinking just
Gone.
off in flames.
I mean, there's libraries of historical significance like the Library of Congress, but how long do you think it'll be before like local libraries just don't exist anymore? Because everything will be digitized or.
Hope that never happens.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a long time.
But they have to
I
stay
told
relevant.
these students, I said, somebody said, well, one of them really, I mean, they didn't ask, they just talked about the future of papers and newspapers, and I said, well, for 30 years, people have said newspapers are gonna die. So it's been a slow death of the physical aspect of printed paper, but I said news companies will exist forever, because so long as we have people walking the face of the earth, news will be made, and there will always be a desire for news, to know what's going on. And so, to answer your question, I think libraries will probably, the hard copies of all the thinking in our world will exist longer than the physical aspect of a newspaper, because I think you have to be able to package information in a way that can be handled and be portable. I mean, not everybody's gonna be able to carry one of these around.
Carry one of these.
Yeah, but even today though, look at, if we only rely on this and this, we're gonna have a world of knowledge that's gonna be separated by the haves and have-nots. If you don't have money to buy this, then you're gonna be lacking a lot. If we end up putting everything in, in bites.
That'll be interesting, man. Maybe the government will subsidize, who knows. But I can see a time in the not so distant future where there's no structural buildings left.
Not so distant is what?
Like in your lifetime, or?
80 years, 100 years?
Less than 40 years.
Yeah. Well, I have a copy of this, I've showed you this copy. It was written by William Allen White back in 1931. He writes in a personal letter talking about the trumpet, the herald of the trumpeter and the bell ringer's bell. We are that, and But
I'll
he,
pull a chair.
Hey,
back in 1931, he predicted that the mechanism, the machineries that we use today to get the news
No,
out
you're good.
will probably end by the end of the century.
I'll just be
And
alert.
he's pretty close to it,
lurk or lurch?
Yeah.
Lurk.
so.
We're talking about the future of libraries.
The future of libraries, the largest library in the country. Do we know yet?
The
That was-
world.
Yeah, that was it. Tony
You
already.
already told the answer?
No,
Yeah.
it's 'cause Tony
We
guessed
should
it.
have another answer.
You're not supposed to tell the answer until people get time to guess.
He guessed it right off.
Oh, get another one.
I was gonna guess
No.
40 million pieces of information, but 164 million, and 800 and some miles of shelves too.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
All right, are we to
Well,
the
like,
news yet?
like YouTube,
Of course not.
I've heard like it would take 2 centuries to watch everything on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
More than 200 years.
Okay, here's the next trivia question.
I
Tony,
don't give the answer.
Tony won't know this one.
All right.
What distinguishes the Indian and the Javan rhinoceroses from other kinds of rhinoceroses?
The charge card.
I know.
One has a horn, one doesn't.
Oh,
One
That's
has-
what I was gonna guess.
Ms. McCaney wants the guess.
Hi.
Hi.
No, I'm just
Just saying
listening.
that.
Y'all
Alright.
figure out what's happening at the court, I mean, really?
Yeah, have we updated people on that? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
John's down there and he's been updating people on his tweets and Tony
Good.
Tom just updated, put the
What's
tweet.
the latest on the story?
They're, the bomb squad from San Antonio, from Corpus Christi's here and they've got some sort of blast protective device that looks kinda like a hot tub. And they're trying to move that in to put over the backpack to, in
To
case it-
actually blow it
if
up?
they're gonna blow it up.
Do they know who brought it in there?
Well,
Yeah,
they have some guy in custody, but he's not arrested, and they took him in for a mental
Oh,
evaluation, and
So-
he has family of some sort in court of some sort today.
So he brought a backpack in, they stopped him
And that's after the police received a bomb threat through the
When I was
dispatchers.
leaving a while ago, I couldn't believe
Right.
what a wide area they had marked off.
But but nothing's detonated, not
Nothing's
even
blown
known,
up.
not even known there is a
They
explosive
don't
device
really know
there.
if it is.
Yeah.
There's a cylinder of some sort in the bag, but they don't know what it is.
Right. And, so we're monitoring that situation, and there's, the ripple effect is showing, somebody, Jennifer Rayburn just posted that they're delaying it to 3 o'clock now.
Oh, they are, was
So-
Callie going to that one or the evening one?
I don't know which one.
But, we should post an update to let people know that, but that's delayed a bit because of downtown being blocked off some, and people should stay away from it. I guess it's just all around the courthouse and still cordoned off.
Yeah, I mean, it's beyond, you can't even get around the square.
Can't get around the square, so.
Main Street's open.
That's not very good for Bella Farms business, is it?
Well,
No.
you can go to Bella Farms and eat though.
If you could
Yeah,
go.
She
if
said
you were-
Main Street's
Main-
open.
Oh, Main
Main
Street.
Street is open,
Okay.
Bridge is not.
Main Street, not Bridge, okay. So you can't pay your taxes, right?
A little late there, so.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, but our centerpiece tomorrow will be Ash Wednesday. Today is Ash Wednesday. We're going to a church in Cuero, the First Presbyterian Church that was badly damaged during the hurricane. And during the time of the repairs, they had services outside. So this past Sunday was the first Sunday they've been back in their church.
Mhm.
So we're doing Ash Wednesday service there. We'll just have a photographer. Callie's talking to the pastor, and then we'll have a short story.
Where your ashes at?
I haven't been to church. I'm a heathen.
Not yet, huh? All right.
So, and then the ripple effect is about suicide awareness and suicide. The ripple effect. It's a movie, right?
YouTube, yeah.
And it's leading
Yeah.
up to some mental health training by Gulf Bend. So there's 2 performances today, 3 and 6, 3 and 6. So we'll be at one of those talking to people. Catherine is trying to work on the new ramen noodle place that's opening up
Oh,
over
yeah.
by the
Over
new,
by the old Hastings.
the new fitness center, whatever that's called.
Find out?
Planet
Right.
Fitness.
Is it open yet? Or
I-
No, the building, no, the ramens, no, she said it looks like they have more.
have you been in?
No, I haven't. I drive by there every
Okay,
day.
okay.
So this place is just gonna be all ramen noodles?
Guess
I don't know.
so.
I'm sure there's gonna be,
I think that's really popular somehow.
I'm sure there's gonna be different flavors that you pour on
I
top.
thought.
Yeah,
I'm
You
still
wanna
not-
go there and pay $8 for ramen noodles, or you wanna go to the store and pay 35 cents?
I pay 35 cents.
Better be some good ramen
I
noodles.
don't. I haven't really
I'm
got
sure
ramen noodles are really
They're
trendy
tasty.
now. It's really
For college
for
students.
college students. Yeah, and it wasn't something when I was in college, but it was just a cheap thing you went to the store to get. Not that you really wanted it, just that it was cheap.
One of the
But now it's like seemed to be sought after. And something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
one of the most sought after items when I was in the war is when they would send packages of those ramen noodles over. Man,
Yeah.
we'd all be fighting for those.
Did you actually eat them, or you just wanted them?
Well,
Yeah, we ate them. Heated our water up on our little portable stove, or not stove,
Bunsen
heater.
burner. No.
Yeah, and just put them in the. We had these little tin cups that we used to use.
Was there any certain flavors that were more popular?
No,
Chicken
it
over
was just-
beef, or?
Yeah, it was just all over. It's any kind, really. Because we'd get really creative and like mix them with other types of food that you get in your MREs and stuff like that. Make little meals and stuff.
Some made your MREs, but edible?
More edible, yeah.
I wouldn't mention that. Next
No,
one.
not.
Anyway,
We're going to talk about the bomb scare. We'll bring you a full report by the end of the afternoon.
You just keep checking back at victoriaadvocate.com. We're updating that along the way.
And then we have a follow-up to yesterday's Color for Causes out the mall with photos with we'll have the winners. More scholarship pictures from the livestock show.
Yeah, we had a lot of livestock show coverage in today's paper, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
A lot.
Basically 2.5 pages,
Yeah.
almost 3 pages. We have an advance for the Children's Discovery Museum is having their spring break camp from the 11th to the 15th next week.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll have what they have planned. They also have their second birthday party coming up this Saturday. Get out. It's everything you want to do during spring break in this area if you're staying in the area for spring break.
I remember how it took forever for them to move out there. Now they're celebrating their second anniversary.
And
To call him prior to checking by, he needs you to stand by so that they can view video
I think
footage of what they've been looking for. that was
Lacey,
there this year.
Allison Lacey's talking about how she can't wait for spring to come. She's ready to put on some spring clothes instead of winter clothes. So. And then in sports, we have soccer safety. This is a Calhoun story by David. Photos of Charlie.
I don't know why they moved that. I put it on the Sunday budget.
Oh, really?
Maybe they'll have something for tomorrow. Okay, that'll be a good story.
Quick.
We don't have any wire story. We don't have wire in here yet. So I don't know what the.
Let me look up the national news if I can. I'll tell you.
R. Kelly with Gayle King had an exclusive interview with R. Kelly, who went ballistic.
On her?
Just in general, he got emotional, and of course, you know, it's like, I don't know if he was in some contest of the one who cries first wins, I don't know. But he basically accused all of these people who came out against him, accused him of all being liars, conspirators. I don't know who all, I mean, there was a whole documentary on him. But anyway, and you know, Gayle King kept saying, you think all these people are lying about you? You know, none of this is true. You never slept with underage girls, and he's denied all of it. And anyway, it just went on and on.
Interesting national story about iPhone sales that are down, and Apple's worried that their app sales might follow next. Interesting. iPhone monopoly could be a chink in the armor.
Yeah, just make one that people can afford a little more.
Well, that might be. Netflix apparently is rebelling against the fees that Apple's tacking on, so, you know, if enough big companies do that, that could affect Apple too. Interesting. Well, I don't have the State Digest handy, so I guess that's that.
Here it is.
5330 basic.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Possible 1015, 1502 Melrose Apartment.
I'm
I
looking
never
at
even heard of R. Kelly.
Contact me for issue as the next door neighbor's board.
I had heard of him before the documentary, and it's interesting that once a documentary comes out and you know more people see it, then it becomes more of an issue that people want to deal with.
5322.
Apparently he's well known out in the music world.
I've never listened to him, but he
Been
seems
around for a
popular.
while,
Yeah.
Who's your favorite artist, singer?
Oh, I like Paramore. They are.
Yeah.
poppy type
I
music.
like a couple of their songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Here's an interesting trend story. Broken bones from falls on the rise among older dog walkers.
Dogs are knocking over old people, is that what you're saying?
Darn
Doggy
chihuahuas
picture.
are too powerful.
Or more people are out walking, older people are walking a dog, I don't know what that's one of those, you know, the effect, but you don't know the cause exactly.
Broken
Or people are
bones.
just more brittle.
Broken bones from falls while dog walking are on the rise among older U.S. adults, and hip fractures are among the most common injuries.
I would assume, let's just demographically look at that, what that's saying. There are more baby boomers.
That's according to a study published Wednesday
So
by
they're just more older people who would be falling.
the
right?
Journal
They're-
of American Medical Association.
Yeah.
Now they're all going to get rid of their dogs. That's horrible.
The answer to that, if you want fewer old people breaking their bones, just have fewer old people. Well, I'm not talking about, well, that's the stat, that's all that's saying.
You're gonna be one of those old people.
I
You
know
wanna-
I am.
you wanna be like
I'm
one
a
of those-
baby boomer.
Like one of those futuristic
younger.
movies where we just knock people off when they turn 70.
Logan's Run, it
Logan's
was
Run,
30.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's a little drastic.
And Logan's Run, they have no old people breaking bones.
Yeah, and when they encounter one at the very end, they're looking at his white beard like, what is that? Is it real?
just-
Can you touch it?
But if you go out, I still would say statistically, people who go out and walk, older people are healthier, so they should do that. So anyway, that's all. You should go out and walk your dog. And be careful.
80% of the patients were women who tend to have less dense bones than
Right.
men.
Right, it's a common genetic issue for women. Have to take your calcium.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But it's a short story though. Not a long
Or is it-
report.
Well, I think we covered it just then. We covered it. All
But
right.
it was out of the University of Pennsylvania researchers. They examined government data.
All right. Well, anything else? If anyone has any news tips, let us know. That's why we come on every day. Just comment. We'll check back. And Becky's got the answer to the trivia question.
Again, the question is, what distinguishes the Indian and the Javan rhinoceroses from other kinds of rhinoceroses?
I'm glad it's not rhinoceri.
It's
The
horn-
horn.
hornless.
How about the horn?
Yes.
What is it?
The Indian and the Javan both have only one horn. All other kinds of rhinoceroses, including the African white and black rhinoceroses and the Sumatran, whatever, have two horns.
Two horns. One and two, not hornless. So we were wrong, actually.
And
One
how-
horn versus two horns.
And how do you keep a rhinoceros from charging?
Take away his
Take the
credit
credit
card.
card away from
Did you see that joke online? It's like, who was the roundest knight of the round table? Circumference.
With that, we're gone. We'll see y'all tomorrow.